TNT Unfiltered 1. Now your hosts, Tyler Freed and Tim Lombardo.
Welcome back. I'm Tyler Freed. Tim Lombardo here. We are going to reach back into the bin of questions here, and these are common questions that we get asked and we come across on a daily basis.
Yep.
So
here we go.
you go ahead and draw. What is the best type of investment property?
Oh man. Best type of investment property is the one that the renter consistently pays the rent on.
That's pretty simple. I was going to say the one you bought 10 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And the guy pays rent on time.
Exactly.
Or the girl or whatever. Best type of investment property that I see is the one that cash flows the best, obviously.
Right.
Duplexes typically pay better than houses because you're getting more rent with less cost for house. So your cost per unit is typically less. Triplex, same thing. There was some lending guidelines changes to those a while back. So you can buy those with those 5% down now, which is a pretty big deal.
Nice.
I think Fannie Mae, from a big picture perspective, is trying to make more doors affordable for more people.
Okay.
So it's like if I can buy a house with just 5% down, I can rent out some rooms. That helps people kind of be able to rent for cheaper.
All right. I think they're doing that to kind of offset the lack of inventory out there.
Oh,
and
absolutely,
affordable
yeah.
options for
Yeah,
people. And
Absolutely. I think a couple things they've done to help affordability and to help the inventory supply problem is they put a 4% rate hit in price to second homes.
Yeah.
Because for a long time I could buy a second home 10% down. I got an owner occupied rate. Well, then I'll go buy a house in Arizona and I'll VRBO it. It's technically a second home, but it's also a rental. So I think Fannie Mae decided they'd kind of had enough of that ambiguous gray area, if you will. And so I said, fine, we'll play that game, but you're going to pay. And so the rates vary based on how much you put down. So really, investment property, to get what I would call not investment property, but a second home, to get what I would deem as a reasonable rate, you need about 40% down, right?
Okay.
To get it really in alignment with primary residence. You only put down 10% on a second home, that rate's going to be up there a little ways, or the fee's going to be up there a ways for sure.
And Tim, you alluded to Airbnbs. You know, those are going to see some crazy returns if you're in a good area that allows for that. There's no zoning changes or laws that you have to have it for under 30 days or whatnot on those short-term rentals.
Yeah, I kind of view VRBO and just single family SFR. Put a renter in there, stay for a year. So VRBO, short-term rental, same thing. And then I just own a home, put a renter in there. Those are two separate things to me.
Yeah.
The actual home is an investment property potentially for both, but the VRBO is ran more like a business.
Yeah.
Whereas the single family home with one renter for a number of years, that's more just a long-term play, right? So you're trying to, maybe make some monthly cash flow. You're not really after cash flow in our market here specifically. It's more about appreciation. Other markets throughout the U.S., it's not that way. It's not about appreciation. It's more about cash flow.
I'm glad that you brought that up, right? Because there's, I think it's roofstack.com, great website. You can search properties. They got them all over the place down in the South, and you can pick up a house for 55 grand or 85 grand, right? Where you're going to be able to cash flow really, really well. But those houses don't appreciate that much.
It's not going to be worth, a $95,000 in 3 years type of deal.
Yeah.
It's a long, slow play from appreciation standpoint.
So it might be attractive to be making that $500 a month, but if you can get something over here, even if you're break even or cash flowing a little bit, that 4 to 5% appreciation that the Pacific Northwest consistently brings in is a game changer. And I think that's the play.
Yeah, and I do think to kind of go back and hit on that one is the best type of property, right? We get a lot of people think, I'm gonna VRBO it, I'm gonna make more money on it, and then I'll be able to use it. And that's in the right market, in the right location, absolutely. But there's a bunch of other things with that business. That's why I call it a business. Yeah. Who's your cleaners? Yeah. Who's your handyman? Who's going to get them in? Who's going to get them out? When the toilet gets plugged when someone's there, who's going to take care of that? So it becomes a much bigger, deal than just putting someone in a house that's living there, because these people are coming for an experience for 2 or 3 days and they want to have, a nice experience, and it's your job to deliver on that. So to me, they're two different things, even though the house is the same widget.
Yeah. And it's a lot easier just to have, a single family home. I always say 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2-car garage. Those are the most desirable rentals. So if you can get one of those, we call it like a base hit, and base hits win ball games. Yeah. It's always a good route to go. So,
And I just always think, as I say over and over, is long-term things are always going to cost more because of inflation and the way money works. And so it's like, why not buy a hard asset that can't be manipulated, it can't be printed. It's a hard asset that has usability. right? So big deal.
Back to your common saying of they're not printing more houses.
They're not
Tyler.
printing any more houses, and the ones they're printing are expensive.
Yes, exactly. Well, thanks for tuning in, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you.
You've been listening to TNT Unfiltered. We hope you've enjoyed the show, and we hope you've gotten something from it. Make sure to like, rate, review, and subscribe.